Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Office of Public Information, where we are sharing stories about the bright side of education.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. Proudly here with our counselors. So we have counselors, we have Counselor Appreciation Week. We have so much to be thankful for. You know, our counselors just do an amazing job, amazing work with our students, with our families, and with our staff. I mean, there's definitely a big need to have them in our schools, and I'm so glad to say that, you know, we do have full-time counselors at each one of our 21 schools, and so you know, it's important to us, and we're glad they are there. But let's get to it. Let's introduce our guest today, and we have two amazing counselors. One works at our elementary level at Summit View Elementary, so go Mountain Lions, and that is Alexandra Inmon. So Mrs. Inmon, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm really excited to talk a little bit about what counselors do and why we're important to have at the school.
And we also have from Lauffer Middle School, who definitely serves grades 6 through 8. So you get a little elementary, a little middle there, is Miss Fatimah Al-Osaimi. So welcome.
You said it great, Jose. Thank you for practicing.
I know. I was practicing. I was scared I was going to screw that up, and I probably will later. But you know, we're gonna do our best not to. So thanks for being on the show. You know, I think just again want to remind individuals out there that we do this, you know, because we want to highlight the things that are happening in Sunnyside, that are happening in the Sunnyside community. And we want our listeners to just get a little firsthand knowledge of what our employees do. And definitely, as we're celebrating Counselor Appreciation Week, there's a lot of misconceptions of what counselors do and don't do. And so, you know, just want to paint a picture out there to our families that, you know, be comfortable approaching them. They're here to serve, you know, just like all our educators are. And if there's needs out there, as you learn more on this episode, you know, don't hesitate to reach out. And so let's get started. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourselves, you know, and you guys can choose who goes first. You know, where did you come from? Where did you go to school?
Awesome.
Why counseling? So
Okay.
You know, and most importantly, why you chose Sunnyside, right? And why you're still here. So we're so happy that you guys you know, have chosen to work in this amazing school district, in this amazing community, and we'd like to think when people come here, they don't leave, you know, they stick around for a little bit. So let's start with that. You know, tell us a bit about yourself, your pathway, your journey to where you're at today.
Okay. It looks like I got tagged by Alex to go first, so thank you, Alex. A little bit about me. I consider myself Mexican, Arabian American, so definitely, you know, multicultural over here. And I was born here in Tucson, but lived in Saudi Arabia for a few years. So again, I think that's awesome that I've seen some different cultures. And moved back to Tucson, never leaving. And once I heard that there was an opening in Sunnyside, I heard great, amazing things about this district. Even some of the folks who I was working with in TOSD were like, hey, you should really look at this opportunity. So I was like, you know what, let me do it. So I was really thrilled to get this opportunity. And now that I'm here, I mean, you guys are stuck with me because we're doing great things in this district, and I want to continue to help with that.
Well, awesome. We don't want you to go anywhere. And Miss Inmon, so tell us a bit about your journey.
Yeah, so I'm from the Phoenix East Valley area. I went to school for psychology, and I got really into mental health. It's always been something that has intrigued me. Growing up in the school that I went to growing up, we did not have any type of counselor that I was aware of. If we had one, there was no awareness of it. So I do appreciate how things have changed, especially here in Sunnyside. There is such an awareness on counselors. I moved to Tucson for my counseling program at the U of A, and I was never intending on working for Sunnyside just because it is such a small district, but I got an internship here during my college years, and now I'm stuck here. I would never want to leave. I never knew.
Are you guys just saying that because I'm here? Or
No,
guys
not at all.
Are you guys really
No.
like being
I mean,
here?
she said it
Seriously. No, I've been in meetings, you know, in other school
Yeah,
districts, and it just felt like my voice wasn't heard. But even just as an intern here in Sunnyside, my voice mattered. I felt important, and so, I don't see myself leaving Sunnyside for another school district. I really feel like this is the place to be. I'm glad I ended up here.
Well, I remember when you're interning at Esperanza, I think that's when I met you, and Miss Utter, who oversees our counselors, I call her the godmother of our counselors, la madrina, right? She's such a great advocate, right, for our counselors, and was a great counselor herself. So shout out to Miss Utter there. She just raved how talented you were, and she's like, we got to hang on to this one. So glad that you're still here, and made your way to Summit View, and I know Summit View is definitely a special community out there, and our students come with different needs, right, at all our schools, not just Summit View, but just all our schools, and so it's so important that we have counselors and help our students and guide them through some support, through some decisions, and also our parents. So speaking of that, speaking of guidance, speaking of helping them and supporting our students and families, what does the day-to-day look like for a counselor? And I want to remind us that we've interviewed high school counselors. Today we have an elementary and middle school, so we're trying to give you the whole rundown, the whole gamut of counselors pre-K through 12 here, right? And so you guys started giggling when I say what does the day-to-day look like,
Right.
because
It's
it
hard to
probably changes every day, right? By the minute, by the second, but what are some of the things you guys encounter day to day? What do you do, and what's your passion, obviously?
Yeah, so I think being a counselor in any age range requires you to be very flexible. We start our day with a plan on how it's going to look, but it never or hardly ever goes that way. For me at Summit View Elementary, working with K through 6th graders, a typical day would include a few classroom lessons where I meet with each class individually and do social emotional lessons on things like kindness, bullying, how to communicate with each other to help them both socially and behaviorally, as well as, throughout the day we do individual planning where I will meet with students one-on-one to offer counseling services, whether it's for mental health or to help with planning, like how they can be more successful in class. And then we also do responsive services, which is like when a group of kids has an argument with each other or there's some kind of issue.
That never happens, right?
Yeah,
Nope,
I
never.
wish it never happened, but it does. So when those things happen, we kind of have to stop what we're doing to handle that situation,
Yeah.
to help those students feel at peace with each other.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It sounds like pretty similar to the middle school, arena as well. And I mean, like you said it very well, that flexibility. I could have a to-do list and it's just a joke. It gets thrown out the
Wiped
window.
out, huh?
And I mean, like you said, we can do academics, we can do some college career focus as well, or life readiness or community readiness, as our mission statement is too. Crisis response as well is another huge one. I'd say a lot of my time is spent as individual sessions, mediations, small groups as well are powerful. But I mean, you could get tasked to cover a class if we're shorthanded. We help at passing periods. Sometimes the kids see us a lot of times at lunch, which is really great too, because you're observing, what's happening at lunch there. So you can help the kids with, again, some problem solving, some strategies, some skills that may arise. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just it's a mixed bag, right?
It's a mixed
and,
bag.
When you think about it, I mean, I hate to bring it up because I want to be so over the pandemic, but definitely mental health played a role, during the pandemic, and you hear it. We hear it most like in graduation speeches. We hear students remind us, what happened through those COVID times. And the other day I was interviewing a student and I said, hey, when you were a freshman and doing this transition, didn't you visit the high schools? And they're like, no, it was COVID. We didn't get to, so the important transitions that students, just missed during that time. So, definitely a lot of, support with mental health, and learning how to do school again, right? I mean, we were virtual, and I know this was a couple years ago, but we still feel the effects of it a little bit here and there. The other thing that, I could just imagine plays a huge role. I mean, when I was in school and, the counselors didn't need to worry about this, the administrators didn't need to worry about cell phones, right? I mean, just social media, and when you talk about like bullying prevention, you talk about doing mediations, and kids can get caught up, so quickly in just saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, and so it's so important that you guys also address those situations and we've been, one of the things I want to say, and I want to say this carefully, is we're more interested as a district in teaching our students, right? Teaching them and how to correct behaviors, and not being not penalizing them right away. I mean, it's in terms of consequences. So so speak to that a little bit. Speak to how how it complicates things, right? In terms of the social media world and stuff like that. It's definitely game changer right here.
Huge.
So what would you say to students? What would you say to parents in terms of those pieces?
I mean, I think, again, I'm in the middle school where we really start noticing that cell phone usage is huge, as I'm sure you start to see it in elementary school. Just recently, I've been reading a lot more about, how sometimes we overprotect them, sometimes on the real world, but not so much online. So we don't know what they're seeing, what they're doing, what they have access to, which is a little scary. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing we can tell parents is be aware, what your kids are doing on those cell phones, even their laptops that they have access to. What are they seeing? What are they doing? Who are they talking to? And I find that the parents are more aware, will be able to communicate with me if their kids need anything. Absolutely. So communication, using empathy as well, right? We understand that when kids make mistakes, if we just dole out consequences, we're not teaching them anything. So we work hand in hand with our admins who take care of consequences. They take care of the consequences as needed. We take care of the heart portion as needed, So, as much as we can, limit that cell phone usage, put some parameters on there, and just be vigilant.
And it's hard, I don't want to throw this on parents or anything like that, because, just making the decision of, okay, when is the right age for your child to get a cell phone, right? And so that's different for every parent and stuff. And so, I know we struggled with that as parents. I got young ones. As a matter of fact, my son, some of you holds a special place in my heart, because my son's a student there, and he raves about you, Miss Inmon, all the time. He's got great things to say about you. So he loves going to you and chatting with you. He's definitely a chatterbox. But it's this piece of, and I don't want to make this episode a cell phone safety episode, but
it'd be like a whole day,
right? We'd be here for a couple hours, right? And so, but it's just those decisions. But I think parents, we're here to help you through those situations. You're not alone, and it's okay for you to say, hey, son, daughter, I am going to check your phone. Let me see it, right? The other thing is, kids are sharp, man. They know they can create multiple accounts and stuff like that. So they may say, yeah, Mom, Dad, here's my account. Look. But they may have another one, right? So anyways, let's get off of that topic here for a little bit, because, our cell phones are going to be ringing right now and getting messages. So, Miss Al-Osaimi, see, I said it right again.
You did. You said it right.
Twice, 2 in a row. I'm on a roll here. But you talked a little bit about, the impact of counselors and the heart, right? It's funny because it's like sometimes you have to talk about the hammer and the heart, and our counselors definitely, not that they can't be the hammer, but definitely play a bigger role with their heart and educating our students, right? And I think one of the things that always sticks out to me is that your impact, you guys have all educators have the opportunity to impact on a daily basis, right? And so, I'm going to ask you guys this question of opportunities to impact, right? But before we go there, we're gonna take a quick break. So don't go away, listeners, because we got some good info coming for you.
Sunnyside students can have it all, learning and growing to graduate college, career, and community ready. Don't believe us? Just watch. At Sunnyside Unified School District, we are preparing our graduates with real-world skills and experiences. Our graduates are leaving Sunnyside to pursue an Ivy League education, becoming collegiate-level athletes, and earning prestigious scholarships such as the Gates Millennium, Dell, and Dorrance.
So we're talking about impact of counselors, right? Opportunity to impact. And one of the things that sticks out a lot, for me, in the role I play as a superintendent here, is I love to hear when especially graduation speeches or just students speak, right? When students are speaking, they often bring up counselors. They often say, this counselor changed my life. This counselor impacted me in this way. Thanks to Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so for this, helping me through this scholarship, right? It's that guidance, and they never forget that. So talk a little bit about that. And I know at the elementary, at the middle school level, it may look different, but I know there's definite opportunity to impact, and kids are thankful for that. So talk to me a little bit about that piece, and you can take it anywhere you'd like with it.
Yeah, I think as counselors, we have so many different opportunities to impact our students, their families, and even our community. I think every single day we probably are faced with, hundreds of different opportunities, whether, like for me, working in the elementary level, just smiling at a student in the hallway, saying, calling them out by their name, saying, I see you, I'm so glad to see you. Kids sitting outside during recess by themselves, making an effort to make eye contact with them, smile, wave. All of those things have such a long-lasting impact to them, even though it may seem like something so small for an adult. Just being available for them, letting them know that there's never any judgment, no matter what they want to talk about, yes. That, their privacy is respected within certain aspects of safety, and just being that safe place for them, letting them know that, they have support, and just being there.
I think you
Awesome.
said it perfectly. You took a lot of the words out of my mouth. Go figure. I would say we just see them for who they truly are. I mean, if I can see the world through their eyes, or I can get to know them and their family a little better, I think that's amazing. But I mean, you said it, making sure each person is seen, is heard, that they matter, their voice matters. I mean, I'm constantly reminding them positive affirmations. You're awesome. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're here for a reason. Because I don't think that maybe they hear that enough.
You guys have got to be like the best people at like just reading like body language, right? When you think about like just reading your kids, I'd be scared to be married to a counselor. Jeez. But anyway, that's a whole other episode.
Day's worth.
That's an episode for being in a relationship with a counselor. They'd be reading your behaviors all day, right? It'd be like Dr. Phil session. But no, but it does, right? I think I'm good at reading body language and behaviors, but man, you guys like knock it out of the park, as you're, and you said it earlier. I mean, it's important for you guys to get out there, walk the hallways, be at the lunches, because that's when things happen, right? That's when, like, as the kids say, that's when the drama happens, right? I mean, it's the chisme and the drama for your mama and all that stuff, right? And so it's important that you guys are out there interacting. I'm sure you guys hear things in your offices, in your sessions with kids, whether it's a group or individual, and then you get to go see it sometimes, right? You get to get out there and say, oh, okay, now I know what's going on. This is clear, it's a clear picture for me. And so, it's just, when you think about it, it's so hard to be a student now too, right? No matter what age, whether you're elementary, middle, or high school, there's just so many tempting distractions out there, and I say tempting because I was a troublemaker already. Like I didn't mean to get in trouble. Sometimes I just got in trouble, right?
We didn't mean to.
And our kids are in the same boat, but there's so many other more temptations. I mean, I was around when there was beepers, and pagers and stuff. I mean, now we're talking like, so yeah. She said, "What's a beeper?" Right? I mean, you never heard of JJ, the king of beepers? No. So anyways, so those people my age would know. But yeah, we had payphones. We'd get paged, and can I borrow a quarter? I need to go call this person, right? But now there's just so many distractions, and so that's why it's so important, and I think this message is to parents. And parents, I'm saying this, and I'm not saying it because I don't think you're doing this, but I'm guilty of it. Like, we have to have so many conversations with our kids, like more than we think, right, to hear kind of what's going on in their world and their stresses and their stuff like that. But that's why we also have, and I'm not putting it all on our counselors, but that's why it's so important that our counselors are so good at reading and navigating these behaviors, and so talk to our listeners about like what you guys do when you go into classrooms, because I think sometimes people don't realize that you guys go teach lessons too, right? It's just not sitting in your office all day waiting for the next customer. It's how you plan your day, how you're required to go over so many things in the classroom with students. So talk to us a little bit about that and what that looks like.
I would say we are, again, Sunnyside, doing great things. We have curriculums that are kind of like crosswalked across the age groups. So let's say that no matter what elementary school your student goes to, they should be receiving a pretty similar curriculum. Same in the middle school, and we know high schools are a little different. So for instance, I do lessons on kindness, anti-bullying, respect. We've done one on language registers because, again, how we speak to each other, how we communicate with each other is huge in this day and age. I know when vaping came up as an issue, we did a lesson on vaping, so health. So I'm sure in elementary school we do the needs according to developmental age groups, and then what's happening in real life sometimes too. We can tailor our lessons to that too, to the communication that needs to occur.
Yeah, you said it wonderfully. I think our district does it well because we do have like that crosswalk, those anchor lessons that we do across the district, but it also leaves a lot of flexibility for each school just because each school is drastically different. Like Summit View is very different than maybe Lauffer, right? So having that flexibility allows us to do the lessons that make sense for our kids.
For the community.
So whether it's on like lying and dishonesty or self-awareness, things that make sense for our class, we can kind of change it to make it a perfect fit, because not every solution is going to be the perfect fit for all students across the board. We need to individualize it a little bit as well too. So we do a good job at balancing that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, good. And it's important to cover that piece because, I think sometimes our parents ask, God, do they teach, kindness? Do they teach decision making? Do they teach? And we do, right? Language registers are so important,
Self-regulation,
it's
responsibility.
right.
Goal setting.
Man, I could have used like language registers when I was young, right? It's kind of like know your audience, right? When you got to know when to say the right thing at the right time and who you're with and who you're not with and stuff like that. And so that's pretty amazing. The other thing is, what advice do you have for those that are pursuing a counseling career?
That's a great question.
Because I know that it's job fair season right now, and we're in the process of hiring. I don't foresee us having a whole lot of vacancies in our counseling department, but
no one leaves.
No one leaves, man. You get here and
The only way to leave is to retire.
That's it. That's it. So you stay here for a while, and so. But what is your advice to those pursuing, a counseling career?
That's a great question.
Do it.
Right. I mean, I don't know your personal reasons for going in, but I know others didn't give up on me when I was going through a tough time. Counseling, support of others, love, and empathy from others really helped me get through life. So, I mean, if you are that person who can be there for other people, or what it's like to struggle and can help others through their struggles, I think, like Alex said, just do it, And we get a lot of support top down, I feel like, in this district for counselors. You highlight what we do. You give us the resources to do what we need to do. So, I mean, if it's your passion, do it.
Yeah, and I think like counseling itself is a very rewarding field. There's going to be really challenging days.
Sure.
So that's, I need to say that. You have to be prepared for those, but the rewarding days make it worth it. It's a really great profession. I'm grateful to be in this position to where I can impact so many people's lives. Like it really is an honor. It is really humbling to be in the position of a counselor. So I think it's definitely worth pursuing if you're able to and interested in.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well
love
said.
it. I mean, I love hearing this piece of, a lot of people that get into education is because somebody else made a difference in their lives, right? And many times that's an educator in some sort, right? Or a coach or something like that. It's our counselors that cared about us, those individuals that you ask yourselves, like, what did this person see in me, right? Why did this person care for me that way? And we have a lot of amazing individuals in this district, and that's why a lot of people come back and give back to this district, and I say it all the time, we welcome all people, not just former graduates, and stuff like that. We love our graduates coming back and giving back, but people that have come, from outside of Sunnyside have done an amazing job here too, and you definitely fall in love with this community, and you figure out how special the community is once you spend time in the community, and so, those are the type of people we want here. People that care deeply about our families and our students, and because that's what they deserve, the very best. And so, and one thing we didn't even cover is, I think one of the hardest parts about being a counselor is when you guys have to do crisis counseling, when in those tough situations, when there's a loss of life, or there's something else that's that delicate. I mean, that is so tough, and you guys always do a great job of coming together and helping each other's schools. I think what sometimes people may not know is that when something like that happens, we call the counseling team, and they all go to one school, even though that's not their school. They go in and pitch in and help and visit classrooms and make sure. The most important thing is that students are okay, right? Students are okay. So we'll leave it with this as we close. Any last comments, questions? I mean, as any message to students, any message to parents, or anything you want to say? I mean, we're just here to as we close this.
Well, I think I'll keep it short and sweet, because you just planted a seed in my brain. It's just beautiful teamwork. I mean, with parents, with teachers, bus drivers, the lunch ladies, our IT people, everyone here at District. I mean, we couldn't do it alone. It takes a village. So parents, we're here for you guys. Students, we're here for you guys. Teachers, we're here for you guys. I mean, we're a team. So beautiful teamwork.
Yeah. And go Rattlers, right? 'Cause, a little shout out to our Lauffer Middle School Rattlers. They want you to get in trouble for that one. So I'm helping you out there.
Thank you. I don't get in trouble anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it better, Fatima.
Thank you.
Yeah, as someone who's not from Sunnyside, and I came to Sunnyside, I'm grateful to be here. This community is wonderful. Not even just at the school level, the district level, but all the schools are related to each other, because, we have siblings at Lauffer, I have a sibling at Sunnyside,
Teachers,
it's all combined and intertwined, and
it's awesome.
It's an honor. System. It is an honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for being here. I mean, we're lucky to have you. I love the energy in the room right now. I mean, obviously, you guys deeply care about education. I know Miss Al-Osaimi, I know you come from a line of educators, and we'll give your mom a shout out, Miss Gallegos here.
She's awesome.
Who's our chief of schools, and the neat thing about that though is you came here, you made your own name, and I wouldn't even known that was your mom until I figured it out. Probably I was the last one to figure it out.
We didn't tell you.
Yeah. So that was the plan, right? No, I'm kidding. But no, you guys, I always hear from parents and co-workers, right? Other employees that sometimes reach out to you guys for support and stuff. They say, "Oh man, these people are amazing." Miss Inmon, Miss Al-Osaimi, they're all never hesitate to support or help, right? And that's how it should be. And so, I want to thank you guys for what you do. Your work is truly critical and important to this community, to our district. And so, as we celebrate Counselor Appreciation Week, we want to give a big shout out to all our counselors, district wide, and let them know that we deeply care about them, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. So, that wraps up this episode. I hope our listeners enjoyed this episode as much as we did, and you heard it here. If parents, padres, if you have any questions, I mean, they're here to serve you, and students, don't hesitate to go see your counselors. I guarantee you they will help you. They'll make you feel comfortable. And I know it's hard. It's super hard sometimes when you have a difficult situation. It's hard to share that with adults sometimes, but know that they are here to help you. So with that, we will say hasta luego, and thank you for listening to this episode of Somos Sunnyside. Hasta la próxima.
Thank you, Mr. Gastel.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.